everyone, welcome back. Duane and Nadia's Food, Travel, and Fun. I'm Duane, and this is our kitchen. Tonight, I'm cooking, and I am making a very, very beloved cheesecake. I love it, you love it, everybody loves cheesecake. And we're doing, or I'm doing, I may say we, but I don't know. I think I talk to myself too much. So I'm doing a healthier cheesecake. Not healthy because I don't believe you'll ever arrive at healthy with cheesecake, but definitely healthier. And how is it healthier? Well, we have reduced the sugar and replaced it with this sweetener. Okay, you can use any sweetener you like. If you like stevia, you want to use Splenda, you want to use Equal. The only thing I recommend is use one that's designed for baking so that it measures out equally with regular sugar. Because I am still using regular sugar in this recipe, but it calls for a 1 1/3 cup of sugar, and I did 1 cup of sugar and 1/3 cup of the sweetener. If you go too far with the sweetener, you will really start to notice that that you're using a substitute. And the idea is to make a cheesecake that I can serve to anyone and have them not even know, unless I tell them. So that's what I'm trying to do here tonight, and I'm going to walk you through this. I will tell you quickly about a couple things and things that I also did differently. So another big culprit is the traditional toppings, your blueberry, your cherry, or whatever a topping you happen to like. You know, there's so many you can use. I am not using these. I'm just showing you these because this is what most cheesecakes have on top of them. See, everyone's kind of seen that cherry filling, and they make the cherry pies out of them and they put it all over cheesecake. And it's got that nice thick gelled sauce, which I'm going to show you. So what we used, or what I used, is something very different. Picked up some frozen mixed berries, which has strawberry, blueberry, blackberries, and you take them while they're still frozen, and I put about 2 teaspoons of this sweetener on them. You can go a little more, you can go a little less, to your preference. I like to try to make it so that the sweetness level is similar to what you would get in this jar, or this can. So I mix that in, let it, while the fruit is still frozen, the fruit slowly thaws out. It forms a nice little bit of juice. You can mix it a little bit. Be careful, you're not trying to break up your fruit. I did take these strawberries and cut them into smaller pieces because I didn't want big whole strawberries on there, but that's my preference. Anyways, I mixed in some of this product right here. This is xanthan gum. I'll make sure you can see that nice and clear right there. And what it does is, instead of like cornstarch or flour, xanthan gum will set up and thicken on a cold product. You do not have to heat it at all. And since this is a filling or a topping, in this case, it's not going to be heated. You wouldn't want it to be treated like a preserve. We're treating it like a topping. So I will show you. It really does thicken a lot. And you don't get this much liquid. So what I ended up doing was, once that had initially, it's very thin liquid. Once it had initially melted off the sweetener and the fruit was thawed out, it has a little bit of thin liquid in there. I took about a teaspoon of this xanthan gum and sprinkle it over the top and mix it all in. Gently, mix it gently because you're, once again, not trying to break up the fruit. Let that set for a bit in the fridge. Brought it back out about a half hour later and added about 3/4, maybe even a cup of water to it and mixed it in, because once that teaspoon had set up over that half hour, this was very thick. This was thick like when you take a gravy and put it in the fridge and it sets. Well, that's what happened here, but that's what I wanted. I added 1 more teaspoon of the sweetener, mixed this up, and I'm going to show you the end product here. As you can see, this is thick. It does run, but look at, see, it's got a nice gel. So that will make a great topping to our cheesecake, much like this, but with none of the real sugar. So taste-wise, I've tasted it. It's awesome. And it is, I'll give a nice description below the video so that you can replicate this. If you really want to go the healthier route, you don't have to. You can just use the regular amount of sugar, the 1 1/3 straight sugar. You can use one of these cans as a topping when it's all said and done, and you will end up with the same thing, just normal cheesecake. It's a great recipe either way. I'm just taking a healthier approach because I feel, hey, why not? We should be healthier. We try to eat healthier. Nidia is definitely trying to eat a bit healthier, as am I. And you know, so cheesecake kind of falls off the list. At least traditional cheesecake does. So you can buy. Yeah, I'm using graham cracker crumbs because I'm going to mix it with the butter, melted butter, and a little bit of fake sugar. Once again, the substitute, and I put it into a Sureform pan. So I prefer where my crumbs are just on the bottom and the cheesecake's on top, and that's why I use this pan. You can buy a crust that's in a pie pan already, but your graham crumbs are going to come up the sides and your cheesecake's in the middle. Either way works just fine. The prefab in the pan, easier, faster, makes this a lot, hey, takes a few extra steps out of the process, which is great. Neither is wrong. It's just how I want to show you what I want to do. I am going to warp speed through some of this because, you know, hey, you don't have to see 5 minutes of me stirring when I can give you 20 seconds of me stirring, and that's what's going to happen. So it is a cooked recipe. It cooks the cheesecake itself once it's in that pan, goes into a 325 oven. It cooks for about 1 hour and 15 minutes until the center is set. This is a 9-inch pan, by the way, so that's the size. I'm working with 4 bars of cheesecake, a cream cheese, and a cup of sour cream, and it's going to fill that pan very nicely. So there are larger Sureform pans, but you have to increase the amounts on your recipe. So this is for a 9-inch Sureform, or even a 9-inch pie crust. Either way, that's the size. So let me get started here. Start bringing it all together. Like I said, it is. Oh, one last thing I did want to mention. Try to use pure vanilla and not vanilla imitation vanilla. It has an aftertaste. They use alcohols. There's just for the right flavor, pure vanilla is the way to go. You're going to use, I believe we're going to use about a tablespoon of vanilla flavoring. And if you're using a tablespoon of imitation flavoring and you're substituting your sugar out a bit, you really start to stray away from that real traditional cheesecake taste, and we don't want to do that. So once again, just a recommendation. You can feel free. I am not a chef. I am a guy who loves to cook and likes to share. And I hope you stick around and join me on the rest of my journey as I make this cheesecake. And I will be back in a few minutes. Thanks. So as you saw, I did a very fast job of making that graham crust and pressing it into the Sureform. Just so you know, when you do press it down, make sure you press it nice and firmly, really pack it down as well as you can. These work great. I also took it and stuck it in the freezer. And that is so that the butter that's inside of that crust congeals and makes it so that it's a very dense crust. And when you pour the cream cheese mixture over it and start to cook it, it doesn't soak into it too much and you don't end up with a soggy crust. So the freezing of the crust, even if it's only for 10 minutes, makes a difference. And it's going to be in there at least 10 minutes. So for sure, and the time it takes to prep all of this and get it ready. I also started the oven at 325 at the time I started to take my cream cheese packets out. And as you can see, I take all 4 of my cream cheese, stuck them into my pan, and I am going to lock that in. I'm going to start off nice and slow. You want to just do the cream cheese. The other ingredients come in afterwards until the cream cheese is nice and fluffy. You want to get this nice and light, and then you'll start adding in the other ingredients, with the eggs and the sour cream being the final ingredients that go in. I like to add the eggs in one at a time, let them mix in, blend in nicely, and then add the next. You'll see it as we go across. I'm gonna probably I'll do a quick warp speed on the initial blending just till I reach that point where it starts to get close, and then I'll take you through it nice and slow. So I let that run several minutes It did get up to high speed, and let me take this off here for you, just so you can get a nice view of what we're looking at. And get rid of these, and really, all right, so as you can see, this is very nice and creamy now, very soft, still kind of thick, but yeah, she's pliable, and that's what we're looking for. Very pliable. A lot of air has been incorporated. It's very nice. So we're going to start taking it back and start doing the next steps where I start to add the remainder of the ingredients. So I'll lock it in place. So we now have 3 ingredients that are going to go in, and that is the cornstarch, the vanilla, and the sugar. I am going to start with the cornstarch. I'm just going to actually add it in and start on a slow mix. And then I'll start to add the sugar in. And it is a mix of sugar, 1/3 substitute, 1/3 of a cup substitute, and 1 full cup of regular sugar. And now we'll get that wonderful smelling vanilla in there. And I'm going to start to speed it up so that it starts to mix very well. If you're running a KitchenAid, I'm on 6 out of 10 right now. She's running pretty quick. But she's mixing very nicely in there. Let me briefly stop that. Lock it, open it. It is now a much thinner, it's like a thick pudding now. Let's see if I can get this thing to open up. I want to make sure I get everything off the sides. You don't want sugar or vanilla or anything like that on the sides. But as you see, she's much creamier. She's kind of like frosting now. So that's really nice. And the smell, oh goodness, it's so good. So it's going to thin out further, of course, as I start to add the next ingredients. Let me lock this back in place. Clean my fingers up a bit. We're going to start mixing again, and we're going to start adding in the eggs one at a time. Lock her in, get her spinning. Let's start with the first egg. Careful not to add any shells. Which is kind of why I like to do it on the countertop. It tends to break the egg nicely. And you really want to give this time to get that egg worked in. Like I had said earlier, we're really not trying to rush the eggs in. We're going to do them one at a time. And it is looking very, very velvety now. So I think I'm ready for that second egg. Oh yeah, she went right in, no trouble at all. When I get the third egg in, I'll wipe the sides down once more, just to kind of get everything nice and make sure that it's all getting mixed in. She really is looking like almost like a pudding at this point, like a vanilla pudding. And that second egg seems to have been incorporated, so the eggs definitely add some body to this, and it starts to really increase the amount of mixture you have in this pan, in this bowl, mixing up right now. And there goes the last egg. Beautiful. No trouble, no shells. Very nice. And I really want to get it mixed in. I'm going to come up to 6 again. And the volume is increasing as it just keeps incorporating more and more air with this mixing paddle, so. And she's just looking so soft and smooth. Let me stop that, unlock that. See, it barely even holds to the paddle now. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. It's coming along nice. Things are going good, people. Gotta love it. This is not only a favorite to eat, it's actually kind of fun to make. You know, I do enjoy making this recipe. Let's show you what we got here. As I clean the sides once again. But now, if you can look in there, see, look, she's really nice and soft. And you know what? She hasn't even reached the full amount of just how soft and smooth this is going to be, because there's one more major ingredient to include, and that's sour cream. Sour cream, you can even just stir it in by hand. I'm going to use the mixer, but you don't actually have to. I'm only going to run the mixer on slow. I'm going to keep it on a low speed to get her mixed in. Clean this paddle. Clean off my spatula on this paddle a bit. There we go. Nice. Lower her down, lock her in. Come over here, get my nice big cup of sour cream. And I'm gonna start to add her in. There it goes. Let's give it some help. Gonna help it along. Remember, don't go too deep into this because that mixer is spinning. You don't want to lose your spatula along the way. Stay nice near the top. There you go. I'm going to give it a little bit more speed. Not much. I'm going to stop it. Quick. Lift her up. Oh yeah, she's soft. Make sure the edges are nice and clean. Everything's mixing. Oh yeah. So now, looks like a very soft pudding now. Back down, lock it. One last mix. Okay. She's ready. Let me go get that Sureform pan, go get our crust. We're gonna pour it in. All right, so this is nice and cold, and I wanna show you nice and close, look. She is like really hard, and that's what you want. So this beautiful mixture is just gonna sit on top. And I am adding it all. Of course, there is no need to reserve any in this. It just all goes in there. And I think even at this stage, she's beautiful. It's not just when it's done, but it's while it's coming along. Yeah. So let's move that to the side. Just make sure we get a nice even fill. Yeah. And that. My friends, that's beauty. That is money right there. So I'm gonna get her in the oven. I'll stick a little pan. I like a sheet pan underneath. Put a sheet pan under it, put her in the oven, and hour and 15 minutes. Hopefully she's done. I'm gonna check her at about an hour for, right now she's very jiggly. Make sure that jiggle is really gone. I don't think an hour is gonna do it. I'm sticking with my hour and 15, and let's see how it goes. All right. Here she goes, 325 on my little sheet pan. I'm gonna put it on the middle rack. Leave her in there. There we go. I will be back for her. Let me set my timer. I am gonna set it for 1 hour. And that is when I'll make my first check. She won't be ready, but that's okay. We wanna give it some time, let her start to get close, and I will see you guys in an hour. We'll take a look at how she looks. So it's been an hour, and oh my goodness, that is just gorgeous. I wanna give it a little bit of the shake test. But yeah, as you can see, she's still got a little shake to it, so we're gonna give it the 15 minutes. But let's get a nice, let me see if I can get a nice close look in there for you. Oh yeah, that, she's a beauty. Okay, let's close it back up. And we'll be back in 15 minutes. So, another 15 minutes. And oh my, she looks perfect. She has a slight jiggle to her, but that's beautiful. Look at that. Oh, I love it. I'll bring you in close for this. Very nice, very nice. Let's bring you in close for that. Nice. Look at the great coloring on there. Let's see. It's got a little jiggle. Notice how much she rose. She's the air that was incorporated with the cornstarch and egg just caused her to really lift right up, forming a beautiful cheesecake. So at this point, you just let it set. You have to let it cool. It's going to have to go down and be refrigerated. So I'm gonna let this set for about 15 minutes and we'll come back and take a look, and she should have gone down and I can start to free it up from the pan. So, but I wanna make sure she's set up very nicely first. Let's take a little peek inside. Just a quick, one last. Oh yeah, she's ready. So let it sit and I'll show you how she looks in a few, and let's see if I can free her up for you. Well, there you have it. She's settling, she's cooling. Got that slight little jiggle to her, but that's quite okay. I got a little bit of a crack, but you know what? We're gonna cover this in that beautiful topping. And I'm going to let this cool on its own for another half hour or so, and then refrigerate it overnight before I do any type of topping. So when I come back, I'll be dressed a little differently, I'm sure. And I do need to shout out to Miss Saldina. Thank you for my beautiful apron that you made so I can keep my clothes nice and fresh and clean. So anyways, I will definitely give one more little snippet here when we get it topped and as we try it out. So this is going to cool. It'll be tomorrow when we finish up and get to actually serve this beautiful cheesecake up. I'm very pleased with the outcome. Came out quite nice. And until tomorrow, I will see you guys. Thanks. Well, welcome back everyone. It is the next morning. She is fully set up. Nice, solid, beautiful, and ready for some topping. So I want to do the topping now because we're gonna serve this up later on. And I just really like to have the topping all in place, have it set up nicely so that there's, you know, we can just cut right into it. This really, I'm quite pleased. I'm very, very pleased with the total outcome here. I'm sure I'll be even more pleased when I get to eat it later on. So, but yeah, as you can see, she's filling right up with lots of strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, all those good things that belong on every good cheesecake. There's so many other ways to make cheesecakes. There's so many other styles, flavors, everything. but I really do enjoy this fruit-topped cheesecake. That's been one of my favorites forever. It's pretty much been my go-to when I do cheesecakes. So, and like I said, it's been a long time. You know, it's hard to come up with a recipe that's this, you know, a true dessert that you can cut back on some of the sugar, cut back on some of the, you know, the part that keeps us older people away from actually eating it and enjoying it. Because it's just like, oh, my health, oh, my whatever. But let me tell you, oh my goodness, I'm gonna make an exception for this one. And that's all there is to it. She's a beauty. I'm gonna take another snap or two of it for you. Yeah, I can lift this up. I can get you a really nice look. There you go. I'm very pleased. And tonight, Nydia is gonna be pleased too, because I don't think I'll get her to eat a big piece, but I know I'll get her to try it. And I can't wait to try this myself, share it. Maybe I'll get a nice slice. I'll show you at least. I may not show you me eating it, or maybe I will, who knows. Either way, we'll be back later on, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Right here, this looks wonderful. Oh, yeah, she's nice, thick. I'm not gonna be shy. I'm gonna get through that. All right, let me see if I can get some, get under the crust. Get a nice piece up here. Oh, there we go. That looks pretty good. Get that off there. How'd I do? Look pretty good? We gotta try this out now. Alright, so I'm gonna dig in to a nice piece of some cheesecake right here.
See that piece? Wow.
A nice looking piece. That should be a good bite. I think that's gonna be sweet. Very creamy, nice and sweet, not too sweet. The topping's great. Really, this really came out good. Nydia is going to have to try this. Okay, Nydia is taking her turn.
It looks pretty good.
All right, well, you give it a whirl.
I just had dinner, so I'm gonna try your cheesecake. Well, I'm gonna get some of that fruit.
Make sure you get some fruit. There you go.
Okay.
Try it out.
It looks amazing.
Looks like cheesecake.
Wow.
The question is, how does it compare to less healthy cheesecake?
Well, I love cheesecake,
Well,
but I've only ever really had the unhealthy, and if this was the only cheesecake I was eating, I wouldn't know the difference.
it's really,
It actually
really
feels
hard to tell.
lighter inside. It doesn't feel as hard, dense.
No, I thought it was pretty dense, but no, you think it's a little lighter?
Well, look at, let's
It does
show.
kind of come apart a little, I guess. And
But you know what? Really, I really love this.
Possibly because it uses the sour cream.
I don't know.
Because not all cheesecake recipes use sour cream.
There's no such thing as a healthy cheesecake. This is calorie dense, but
So
if you want to indulge, this one, especially for someone who may have diabetes and can't really have all the carbs and sugar, I would say don't eat the crust, right?
well, the crust on the bottom is made only with substitute sugar as well.
But
Although
the
it's still the
carbs
crust itself.
It's a graham cracker
Yeah.
crust. So you didn't add more. But the cheesecake itself is mostly carb free with the exception of all the sugars and things. So
There you go.
folks, this is a keeper.
And I did crunch numbers, and from a sugar perspective, a regular cheesecake this size is about 400 grams of sugar, and this one comes in around 250, including the topping.
So it's a keeper.
So it's a good third less carbs across the boards. So, and we both agree, tastes great. So, yay. Okay, well, till next time.
And
Duane and Nydia, Food Travel Fun. that's the remnants of that piece, which I'll probably force myself to eat now that I've had my dinner as well. And remember, click like, tell your friends, subscribe, click the bell, and we'll see you next time. Bye. That plate's big enough.